Most people don't know this. In the entire 18 days of the Mahabharata war, the most powerful being on that battlefield never once raised a weapon. Krishna, the Supreme, the one who could end the war in a single breath. He stood there, unarmed, holding the reins of a chariot. Why would God himself agree to not fight? Here is the part almost nobody talks about. He almost broke that vow once in the middle of the war, and the person who stopped him was not a god. It was an old man lying on a bed of arrows. If Krishna had taken one more step that day, the Mahabharata as we know it would not exist. Today we imagine what would have happened if he had. Before Kurukshetra even began, Krishna made a decision that shaped the entire war. When both Duryodhana and Arjuna came to him for help, he offered a choice. His massive army, the Narayani Sena, fully armed and unstoppable, or Krishna himself, alone, unarmed, only as a guide. Duryodhana grabbed the army without hesitation. Arjuna chose Krishna, just Krishna. No weapon, no army, only presence. 10 days into the war, Bhishma, the Grand Commander, a warrior no one could defeat in fair combat, was tearing through the Pandava army. Arjuna, out of love for his grandfather, was holding back. Krishna watched, day after day. And on the 9th day, something happened most people skip over. Krishna, the one who swore he would never fight, jumped down from the chariot, picked up a chariot wheel, and charged straight at Bhishma. Bhishma did not defend himself. He dropped his bow and smiled. Come, Krishna, to die by your hand would be the greatest honor of my life. It was Arjuna who ran and stopped him. Krishna walked back. He never lifted a weapon again. But that moment raises the question, what if no one had stopped him? Imagine it. Krishna does not stop. He keeps walking toward Bhishma. This is not an ordinary warrior. This is the being who showed Arjuna the Vishwarupa, the universal form. Every god, every galaxy, every soul existing inside him at once. That is what would have stepped onto the battlefield, not a man with a wheel, a god who had been choosing every single moment to hold infinite power inside a human body. Bhishma would not have fallen in 10 days. He would have fallen in 1 second. The Sudarshana chakra alone could have erased every army on that field in the time it takes to blink. The 18-day war would have been an 18-second war. Here is the twist most people never think through. That outcome would not have been a victory. It would have been a tragedy greater than the war itself. Because the Mahabharata was never about who wins. Arjuna was not just facing an army. He was facing his own teachers, his cousins, his grandfather, people he loved, and he had frozen. If Krishna simply erased the problem, Arjuna never faces that fear. He never understands duty. He never receives the Bhagavad Gita. A war ended by force teaches nothing. A war endured through understanding teaches everything. That is the real reason for the vow. Krishna did not fight for Arjuna. He made sure Arjuna could fight through himself. Once you see this, you see it everywhere. When Duryodhana insulted Krishna in his own court, Krishna could have destroyed the whole assembly. He showed his universal form, then he left. He let the war happen, because some lessons are learned only by living through the consequences of your own choices. Even Krishna's own death, not from a divine enemy, not from a battle, but from a hunter's arrow while he sat under a tree. The being who could end armies with a thought allowed his own life to end by accident. Restraint was the entire teaching. So, what if Krishna had fought? The war would have ended in a second, and humanity would have learned nothing. That is the wisdom inside this what if. The greatest strength is not the ability to solve everything instantly. It is the discipline to hold that ability back and let the people you love grow through their own struggle, even when you can save them from it. We reach for the biggest force to solve our problems, like Duryodhana. But real strength looks like patience, like restraint, like standing beside someone in their hardest moment, without taking the moment away from them. Krishna did not win with the Sudarshana Chakra. He won by choosing every day for 18 days not to use it. If this made you see the Mahabharata differently, tell me in the comments. Would you have stopped Krishna that day or let him fight? Subscribe to Krishna Wisdom for more stories that go beneath the surface. Remember, the power you hold back can matter more than the power you use.